So I've recently discovered a pattern that has a huge impact on whether or not you achieve your goals. And it's not something I've ever heard anyone talk about before. Obviously, one of the most important factors in whether or not you'll achieve your goals is what your goals actually are. But what's not so obvious is that the individual goals don't actually matter as much as the group itself. In the past few months, over 1,500 people have joined my accountability challenge, and they've been setting themselves goals and tracking their performance. I've spent the past few weeks reviewing the results, and I've found the pattern that I'm going to share with you today. If your goals and strategy don't follow this pattern, there's a good chance you won't achieve them. But if they do, there's a good chance you will. So let's get into it. This strategy is what I call flywheel goal setting. To understand it, I'm going to take you through 3 sections. 1, what a flywheel is. 2, how it applies to your goals. And 3, the 3 components of the perfect goal flywheel. So first, let's talk about what a flywheel actually is. In the real world, a flywheel is a type of wheel that uses momentum to keep itself spinning, even when it's not being pushed. It requires loads of energy to get going, but once it finally does get going, its movement creates momentum, which allows it to keep spinning. And this concept is used in business to describe strategies that are hard to get going, but once they do, keep improving themselves the more they run. The most famous example of this is Amazon. Here is a simplified version of their flywheel. You have 4 components in the Amazon flywheel. 1, the number of sellers on the platform. 2, the selection of products. 3, the customer experience. And 4, the traffic to the website. Now you'll see here that anytime one of these improves, the next metric also improves as a result. For example, if they add a new seller, the selection of products increases, resulting in happier customers, which results in more traffic. Then the increase in traffic makes it more likely for a new seller to join the platform, and the process repeats itself. This is one of the reasons that Amazon is so successful. But what I've realized is that this concept is just as true when you're setting your own goals in life. Let me show you. You want to create a group of goals where completing an action in pursuit of one goal makes completing the action for the next goal easier. So let's say for this period you have 3 goals. 1, to improve your health by avoiding junk food and alcohol 6 days a week. 2, to improve your fitness by going to the gym 4 days a week. And 3, making more money by working on your business an hour every day. Now let's see how well they fit on the flywheel. Remember, you want each action to make the next action easier. So let's say on one day you don't eat junk food and don't drink any alcohol. Eating better and not having a hangover will give us more energy the next day, making it easier to go to the gym. Then, if we've been to the gym, we'll have the dopamine release from the exercise, a sense of accomplishment for having been, and we'll likely sleep better. And all of these will result in you being in a better state to work on your business. As you work on your business, you'll be excited by its progress, which will motivate you to maintain your health. While it might be hard to eat healthy that first day or go to the gym that first week, the more times you complete each step, the easier it will become. This means that by the time you've been doing it for a month or so, it will start to become second nature and you'll form a habit. I saw this repeatedly in the results of my challenge participants. The people that had flywheel goals started to hit their stride about 4 weeks in, and from there got consistent results. So that's what it looks like when it works. But what about goals that aren't using a flywheel strategy? These are when you set goals that are all good for you, but they tend to compete with each other. To illustrate this, let's use a common example I've found. I want to go to the gym 4 times a week. I want to study to learn to code 6 times a week. And I want to start a new business. Let's say dropshipping, and work on it every day. When we map these onto a flywheel, it doesn't work quite so well. So let's say on day 1 you do go to the gym. That's great. You get all the benefits we spoke about earlier, which means you're better rested and energized to focus on coding the next day. But having just spent hours studying, the last thing you're going to want to do is spend even more time sitting on a computer trying to build an unrelated business. The more time you spend learning to code, the less time you'll want to spend on your business. And equally, the more time you spend on your business, the less time you're going to want to spend coding. It's not that either of these goals are bad. They just don't support each other. So what do we do in this situation? Well, the obvious answer is to prioritize one of them for a period, say 3 months, and then switch. But if you want to study and work at the same time, you definitely can, but you need to change one of your goals. If you want to start coding, you should build a related business. And equally, if you want to run a dropshipping business, you should study e-commerce or marketing. And that way, when you complete one of them, you support the action for the next one. And that brings me nicely to my 3 favorite components of the perfect goal flywheel. This setup obviously isn't the only way to make this work, but it's a simple configuration that I've seen work for a lot of people. Before we talk about the components themselves, let's first define how you set a goal. For each component, we're going to use what's called a lead indicator. This is simply a goal you can actually control, rather than the result of achieving it. For example, we won't set a goal of making a specific amount of money from your SaaS business, because you can't guarantee that, but you can commit to developing your product for an hour a day. So we'll put that instead, because working on our product every day is likely to increase revenue. Each of our lead indicators needs 2 components. Frequency, how often you're going to complete the action and for how long each time, and time frame. In what time frame are you going to complete those actions? For example, you can't say I'm going to sleep better. There's no frequency or time frame to that. Instead, say you're going to get up and go to bed at the same time, 6 times a week. That way you have a measurable goal with a time frame and a frequency. So with that, let's define our categories for each of our lead indicators. The first component is health. This one is simple and well researched. The more you prioritize your health, the better your focus, energy, and motivation levels will be. So, pick a lead indicator for your health goal. Pick whichever area you're weakest in at the moment. It could be your sleep, exercise, food, or mental health. Then, make sure you have a frequency and a time basis for the action you're going to complete to improve it. Doing this helps you to maintain your focus and energy, which helps with the next component, knowledge. You need to commit to learning something that interests you on a regular basis. And again, this needs a frequency and a time frame. And it could be anything from reading a book 30 minutes a day to studying a course 4 times a week. The key thing is that whatever you're studying has to support the next component, which is the implementation. In this component, you're going to put your knowledge into practice in a project or business. You could do this in a personal project, like learning to paint, or in a business that uses the skills and knowledge you're acquiring. And when you use these components, the flywheel runs seamlessly. Your health actions help you to stay rested and motivated, and help you to have the energy to spend dedicated time learning. And the learning, in turn, makes you more excited about something you've just found out, and this excitement makes you want to try what you've just learned. Then, the progress you make on your project due to the learning will make you want to keep the cycle going, so you'll stick to your health goal. So if you're struggling with your goals, take another look at what they actually are. Do they help each other? And if not, it's probably time to change them so that they do. And if you'd like to get a free written version of this strategy that you can follow along with, click the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.